Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. My name is Janki Jivan. I belongs to Shahid Bhagat Singh College, University of Delhi. Today we will discuss about evolution of geographical thinking and disciplinary trends in Britain. The modern geographical thought in Britain has been evolving since the establishment of Royal Geographical Society in 1830. Before this period, geography was taught only at the school level in Britain. Some early geographers like Mary Willey and Francis Galton had initial impacts on geographical studies, but it was Royal Geographical Society which led the beginning of geography as a distinct subject by making its effort in academic activities like collection of books, journals, maps. The society worked on various geographical research methods, prepared research guidelines for young academicians and researchers. Further, this society also used to organize seminars which were usually attended by geographers from the different countries like Germany, France. These geographers attending seminars and symposium shared their views, assessments, geographical knowledge with emerging British scholars. In this background, some young and enthusiastic British scholars developed their interest in geography and helped in introducing geography at the university level in the country. In addition, with the help of Royal Geographical Society, many professors, readers, posts actually created at universities, and a separate department of geography was established at Oxford University, where Halford John Mackinder appointed as a reader. Later he became a professor at the same place. Therefore, it was Mackinder who formally started British geographical thought at the School of Geography in Oxford University in 1887. A number of geographers like John Herbertson, Laird, C.B. Foyd, George Goody, Gilsum, and Roxby, Sidney William, and Herbert John Filliard, Dudley Stamp were the prominent who led the geographical movement led by the Mackinder. The geographer worked on various geographical and enriched its distinguished and scientific branch of knowledge in Britain. British geographer and their significant contribution. First of all, we will discuss about Mackinder. He is known as the founder of the British School of Geography at Oxford University. He viewed that geography as a subject aimed at bridging the natural sciences and humanities and taking variation of interaction between man and society in their environment as a core of study. He accepted Redgill's view and pointed out anthropogeographers are real geographer and real geographer are adventurer. Therefore, training is imperative for becoming a geographer. Following his view, he adventured Eastern Africa and climbed Mount Kenya. His writing on the geopolitics got international reputation because of his thinking was governed by visualization of the world map and its regional complexes, which have been formed by numerous changes combination of viewed physical and human elements on the earth surface. In 1802, he developed his interest in historical geography and wrote a book entitled British and British Seas, containing his geographical views and theories, analysis of the British history and the regional interpretation of the Britain and its seas. Later, he became a very popular by his research article entitled Geographical Pivot of History. In 1904, he formulated the concept of geographical pivot of history, which is also known as Heartland Theory of Mackinder. This theory has certain proposition on the balancing of the power. The Heartland Theory and its geopolitical scheme, Mackinder pointed out after the age of exploration, the oceanic power weakened because of the most of the coastal areas are strategically accessible and vulnerable. In fact, actual power lies in the pivot area, Russia. This landlocked pivot area, Heartland, was potentially powerful because of its inaccessibility to the oceanic power, its strategic position and development of transcontinental communication like railway and telecommunication etc. The pivot area is encircled by inner crescents, that is marginal continental states, and outer crescents, that is overseas power like Britain, USA, Japan. He considered Russia was pivot area which geostrategically important in the world. However, if Germany takes ties with it, the pivot area can have developed its oceanic fleet as well. In this scenario, overseas power like France, Italy, India, Korea have to be united to contain the growing power of the pivot allies. He further elaborated this Heartland Theory in his textbook entitled Democratic Ideas and Reality, published in 1919. In the First World War, as Germany tried to dominate on the Russia heartland, allies navies were stopped to enter in the Baltic and Black Seas. Such event popularized the Mackinder Heartland Theory. Mackinder further reviewed and included the Eastern Europe in the heartland and proposed the concept of world island that includes Asia and Europe and Africa. The most in this figure, the world island has been given figure number 1. Mackinder actually warned of the danger of the heartland falling in the control of the Soviet Union. Hence, Russia would have ability to strike on peripheral lands of the world island from its all direction. He summarized his view of global strategy in the famous lines: who rules the East Europe commands the heartland, who rules the heartland who commands the world island, who rules the world island commands the world. He repeated the same view in 1943, a few years before his death during the Second World War. The theory of the heartland was criticized because of rising importance of air power, satellite technology, missiles, importance of Arctic region because of it is encircled by all superpower like USA, Russia, North America, North Europe, Northern China, Japan, etc. Nevertheless, Mackinder laid the foundation of geostrategic theory, which inspired various geographers across the world to study geostrategic and political geography. Another geographer from the Britain was Robert Mill. He was influenced by Darwinian environmentalism and Otto Schlutter's morphological approach. His concept of physiography also included the geography of man. His view was similar to the Aristotelian system of spatial distribution phenomena overlaid as pyramid, where it is best contained physical structure on the top and human socio-economic features. Further, his interest was to study water as an element which sustained all form of life and provide inexhaustible source of energy. He wrote a book. That book name was Realm of the Nature, aims at study water, published in 1891. Later, he prepared rainfall maps on the basis of 50 years of average rainfall data and also prepared land use map for the Britain. Another geographer was Sir Patrick Geddes. He was a Scottish geographer who was inspired by the Vidal de la Blas and Laplace research on the family lifestyle and the family budgets. As per his view, the family life depends upon the family lifestyle, family budgets. He transformed Lee Place formula place work family into place work folk as the basic concept in the study of the cities and the region. Another great geographer was Andrew J. Herbertson. After Mackinder, Herbertson became the professor at Oxford University. Geddes had immense impact on his study of regionalization. While working with the Geddes at Oxford, he presented a scheme of division of the world into 15 natural regions on the basis of homogeneity in the surface feature, climate and vegetation. As per his view, there is interaction between inorganic and organic component in natural regions. He further pointed out that all natural regions are in fact physical regions. Each regions represent a unique imprint on man and environmental relationship. Another geographer was H. J. Fleur. He was a professor at Manchester. He viewed that the human problem must be understood not only through the space but also time and types, which has been well explained in his book entitled Corridors of Time. He wanted to elucidate the regional personality through city structure, its social institution and functions. He authored another book named Human Geography in Western Europe, analyzing mainly the human regions. As per his view, the only environment does not influence the region, hence human influences are equally important. Another British geographer was P.M. Roxby. He elaborated the contents and method of the regional studies. According to his view, first of all, regional studies required a demarcation of natural resource on the basis of geology, drainage and coastal lines, climate, vegetation, with reference to the man and environmental relationship. He further proposed a concept of human region and pointed out that the differential spatial relation account for difference between two man regions within a natural region. He viewed that the man must adjust with changing natural region and its environment. Another geographer, British geographer, was S. W. Willey. He was a professor at King's College. He was in association with Morgan, who wrote a book on geomorphology. According to him, physical geography is a platform for human life and human activities. In order to express his view on geographical contents and method, he authored a book entitled Geographers as Scientists in 1956. His book named Spirit and Purpose of Geography became very popular amongst students and academicians as well. L.D. Stamp was the greatest British geographer. He worked as an academician and a professor at universities like Rangoon, London, and was rewarded by honorary doctorate from various universities like Clark Universities, Edinburgh, Stockholm and Warsaw University. He authored more than 30 books, namely Geography of Life and Death, Handbooks of Commercial Geography, The Land of the Britain, Use and Misuse, Our Developing World Asia, A Region and Economic Geography, and The Land for Tomorrow, Underdeveloped World, etc. Stamp's most significant work was county level survey on land use in Britain. His emphasis was on use of geographical knowledge for human development and their prosperity. Being a president of International Geographical Union (IGU), he has been always active in enriching the contents and scientific methods in geographical studies. Another great British geographer was Richard J. Shirley. He and his companion Peter Hackett worked on application of statistical techniques and mathematical methods in geographical analysis. Besides, Shirley contributed to physical geography, especially geomorphology and climatology. Shirley, along with the Peter Hackett, had also written a number of books like Frontiers in Geography, Geographical Teaching that is published in 1975, Models in Geography published in 1967, Socio-economic Models in Geography that published in 1968, and Physical and Information Models in Geography 1969, Integrated Models in Geography that is published in 1969. These books highlighted the various new methods and techniques in geographical analysis, which inspired many young geographers to do more research on this application. Another great geographer was Peter Hackett. Actually, he, along with Richard J. Shirley, wrote several books on the application of statistical and mathematical techniques in geography. Besides, he individually authored books, namely Locational Analysis in Human Geography, published in 1965. Another was Geography A Modern Synthesis, published in 1975, which mainly encompasses the scope of geography and its analytical methods and techniques, along with numerous map and diagrams and photographs. Now we will discuss about disciplinary trends in Britain. There are so many actually disciplinary trends and branches of the geography developed in the Britain. As ever cited, geographers have contributed evolution of various branches like economic geography, agriculture geography, human and settlement geography in the country, that is Britain, which is being discussed as as follows. First of all, economic geography. Economic geography as a discipline has been very popular in Britain during interwar period. The British geographer emphasizes the studies of economic activities and the factor, especially natural factors determining their location. One of the predominant geographer was Buchanan, who examined the physical factors affecting location of industries and aerial pattern of the crops. Beside, William Smith was another geographer who authored a book entitled The Economic Geography of the Britain, aiming at systematic study of the regional variation in economic productivity in the country. This book in its entirety focused on economic data analysis with ecological approach. In addition, George Gould Chisholm authored a book namely called Handbook of the Commercial Geography in 1889. After Chisholm, Robert Mill also wrote General Geography containing detailed account of the polar explorer. Later, he proposed a plan for the land use in Britain, which inspired by the L.D. Stamp to prepare as well accepted the land use map in Britain. In addition, Herbertson framework actually divided the world into 15 natural regions of the great importance for the study of the world, regional and economic geography. Another was regional studies. The evolution of regional studies and trends in Britain was significantly influenced by the concept of landscape from the Germany and pace from the Britain. For example, British geographer Patrick Geddes focused on field study and regional survey for demarcating the region and regional planning. Another British geographer was Andrew J. Herbertson, who combined the Gedesian tradition of the regionalization and Darwinian heritage of deterministic approach in the study of natural region. As discussed earlier, he pointed out that the natural region in the world must be demarcated on the basis of association of surface feature, climate and vegetation. Beside, Marian Wiggin wrote a book, Regional Studies. She also influenced by the French tradition, which is reflected in her book entitled Man and Her Conquest of the Nature. In addition, Fleur offered a regional classification of the world based on problems and difficulty faced by man in achieving its basic needs on the earth's surface like nutrition, reproduction, well-being. On this basis, he divided the world into 7 regions. One more regional geographer was John F. Arnstead, who gave equal weight to human and environment in dividing the world into various regions. Another branch was agriculture geography. The British geographer had given a special focus on agriculture geography, especially land use survey and its planning during the early decades of the 20th century. The First World War necessitated the land use planning and crop expansion in Britain. In this background, L.D. Stamp prepared a very valuable maps of the land use for country, which later became the basis of the reconstruction of the Britain after Second World War. Next branch was historical geography. In Britain, Mackinder laid the foundation of the historical geography. He viewed that the historical geography was as a significant discipline which rebuilds the past geographies and so how an orderly change in the past has led the process of development of the present geographical features. He opposed geography to be merely a description of contemporary features. In his view, historical geography helped scholars to study the changing man and environment relation and learn from this change in past and predict the future and plan accordingly. Besides, geographer H.G. Derby used positivist approach in historical geography, while W. Kirk and Brookfield's historical geography had a humanistic orientation. According to their views, perceived world is more important than the real world as recorded in the documents. Therefore, the real history is a history of the changing perception of the people about the geographical phenomena over the period of time. Besides, E.G.R. Taylor and E.W. Gilbert contributed significantly in the historical geography in Britain. Another branch was settlement geography. Few British scholars studied and authored books on the branch of geography, especially during the interwar period. However, the scholars Fleurs and his follower authored his studies on rural settlements, and especially spatial structure of city received little attention. Current trends in British geography: in last 40 years, the British scholars have contributed immensely in the changing philosophy, approaches and scope of the geographical studies. The key change is noticed in quantitative revolutions and their contribution and their geographical application. In fact, during this period, geography was recognized as a spatial science. Scholars like Peter Hackett, Richard Chorley contributions were significant. Both applied various statistical and mathematical techniques and articulated methods and theories in these subjects, especially in human and social geography. Therefore, geographer in Britain emphasized on quantification of the subject matter by using multivariate analysis, various statistical tools to describe a pattern and formulate geographical hypotheses and testing them. Scholars, especially Hackett and Chorley's book, elucidated the geographical models and its use in spatial and locational analysis. Some of the important work of these authors are Human Geography, Locational Analysis in Human Geography, Frontiers in Geographical Teaching, etc. These quantitative approaches, British geographers have been making enormous effort to solve the current social economic problems in Britain and the world. As of now, countries across the world, including Britain, face a number of the problems like intra-regional inequality, environmental degradation, ecological crisis, inefficient public welfare system, dealing with the social amenities and medical facilities. British geographer analyzes problems in detail and finding the solution for them. However, the British geographer also use new concept of positivism, pragmatism, existentialism, idealism, realism, environmental causation, radicalism, dialectical materialism in analyzing the geographical phenomena on the earth's surface. Geographer also used various thought to analyze and solve these above cited problems. Some believed, as per the positivism, as natural science discovered the law of the nature, hence scientific inquiry of the communities would discover the law of society. Positivism avoided the normative questions and beliefs. Some geographers focused on pragmatism to solve the social problem. Although the concept was borrowed from the United States, the British geographer accepted this concept to understand and solve the practical problem. One more concept was realism, and that found a wide space in the British geographical literature. Now the realism is explained in opposition to idealism. British geographer recently concentrated on behavioralism and humanism as a philosophical theme for the study of human geography. These philosophies and thoughts helped the British geographer to enrich contents and methods of various disciplines or the branches of the subject like physical geography, regional geography, historical geography, economic geography, transport geography, agricultural geography, political geography, etc. Thank you so much for listening this contribution of the Britain to the geographical thought.